Hi and welcome to yet another tutorial from Artyshils Art Brushes. I'm Kamia and I go by the handle Art by Kamia on Instagram. Today we will be using these amazing Artyshils round brushes set to create a simple bird illustration in watercolors. We'll start with the background first. I want the sky to be very light, so I'm wetting the entire background to give a wet on wet effect. I'm using an ultramarine glue here as my paper is already wet, so I'm just effortlessly spreading the glue without giving any definite shape. I'm letting the water do its work and give a natural effect to the entire background. I'm using an Artyshils round brush number 8 for covering the background. You can use these cruelty-free Artyshils art brushes for watercolors, acrylics or oils. They can hold a very good amount of water, and I'm superly impressed by their perfect tip and perfect shape which helps me to work on details with ease. Once my background is dry, I'll start with the birds. I'm using an indigo color here for the birds. I'm using an Artyshils round brush number 6 now for coloring the birds. I'm now using a wet and dry technique here as my paper is dry. We use generally this technique once we start with the details. Since this is just the first wash for the birds, so I'm keeping it very light. I'll come back to the birds later on to give a darker highlight for different parts of the bird's body. I'm using a yellow deep here to give a highlight for the bird's body. I am adding a very light wash again here and probably will come back to give a touch up. In the meantime, my indigo of the bird has dried, so I am returning to give a darker highlights of the same color. I'm just using a little darker tone of the same indigo color as I used in the first layer, and adding some highlights like the feathers, the tails. I'm still using an Artyshils round brush number 6 for these details. These brushes are available in a variety of sets, including the round brush set, the detailer brush set, the flat brush set, and even mixed brush set. So if you want to check out the entire range of these available brushes or want to buy one for yourself, you can check out their website. The link for the website is mentioned in the description of this video. You can also check out my artworks in watercolors and acrylics on my social media. I go by the handle Art by Kamia on Instagram, and you can just connect with me over there. As you can see, these details take a lot of time, so you have to be patient while you're working on the details. You have to make sure that you're using a fine tip brush like I'm using this one, and you have to also make sure that your paper is entirely dry, because if the paper is even slightly wet, the colors might spread and the details can go vary. Now I'm here coming back to my yellow deep to give some details with the same color, and I'm almost done with the details of the birds right now. now switch to Artyshils round brush number 2, and I am using Payne's grey here for adding the finer details and also for coloring the eye of the birds. In case you like this work and you try to recreating this one, then please don't forget to tag us on Instagram. Our handle is Artyshils Art Brushes. You can also tag me. My handle is Art by Kamia. So I would love to see how you recreated this one and would love to connect with you there. I'm now using a burnt sienna to add a little touch up to the lower part of the bird's body. This is just to highlight the lower part, and then I'm just blending it with the yellow here so that it gets a little darker. I'm using a burnt sienna here to make the feet of the birds. Again, I'm using an Artyshils round brush number 2 here. The feet are very small and delicate, so just don't make them too big. As you can see, the feet are visible only for the first bird, so we are not adding something for the second bird. And again, I'm using the same color for making the beak of the birds, both of the birds. I let the birds dry up. In the meantime, let's start with making the branches and the details of the trees. So now I am using a burnt sienna for the first wash for the trees here. I have again switched back to Artyshils number 6 here, and I'm just coloring the entire stems with a very light wash of burnt sienna here. If you notice here, I am holding the brush from a very distance. This is mainly to give a very loose effect for the branches, and the branches come out really nice this way. So this is a very light first wash here, just to mark the shape of the birds. So I'll come back to add highlights for the darker areas and to give that texture for the tree's trunk. To add the highlights here, I'm now using burnt umber to mark the darker areas of the trees and also add some highlights. Also, the area under the bird where the bird is sitting, it will be a little darker because of the shadow the bird's body will be casting on the trees. Again, I'm holding the brush from the other end of the brush so that I get a very loose effect. and here I'm just trying to create some texture for the branches, and it can be random. You don't have to necessarily do exactly the way I'm doing, so it can be random. Once you're done with the stems, we'll start with the leaves. So again, the positioning of the leaves can be random. I am using sap green here for the first layer of the leaves here. I'm using an Artyshils round brush number 6 here again to add the leaves. Again, the leaves the size and the positioning of the leaves can vary. It's not necessary to add at the same spot. You can even vary the shape of the leaves the way you want them to be. I'm using a permanent green here to add some highlights on the trees. You can use any darker green here to give some highlights on the leaves, and you can even make leaves with the same green color, darker green color. When you are adding the leaves, just make sure that you don't overload the tree with the leaves, because that will kind of suppress the birds. We want the birds to be the highlight of the painting, so keep the leaves to the minimal. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please do like and subscribe to our channel Artyshils Art Brushes for more such amazing tutorials coming up your way. Thank you.